Hey there guys, welcome back. Thanks for clicking on this video. I know you can tell by the title that this is not one of my traditional knife reviews or a watch review. This is something much more important. I want to talk about mental health for a minute. Well, a couple of minutes. September is Suicide Prevention Month, Suicide Awareness Month, and I think it's even more important right now based on the whole global pandemic. Couple 3 weeks ago, a month or so, ago, a couple other YouTubers that I know, Nick Shabazz and Slicey Dicey and Professor EDC, did some, mental health videos also. Nick kind of started, and then Slicey, and then Professor EDC, and I've been thinking about it kind of since before then and since then. Well, here we are. Why do I have the right to talk to you about mental health? Well, number one, you don't need any qualifications. We should all be talking about it more. I think we all can reach out to somebody. It's affected us all in one way or another. That's the first point. Everybody should be talking about it. We try to sweep it under the rug. We think we're too macho to talk about it, and that's just wrong. Secondly, growing up as a kid and whatnot, one of my siblings, freshman year of high school, had some drug and alcohol issues, and through that whole thing, without going into all the details, come to find out they had some serious mental health conditions, diagnosed conditions. And, fast forward, from mid 80s till today, and they are doing fine, so got some help and kind of, worked their way through life and are doing good. Fast forward up even more, and, I've had my own issues, anger issues, anxiety, depression. Probably 10 years ago, I reached out. I raised my hand and I reached out and I started talking to somebody, and I saw a therapist, and I spent a long time talking with her about life in general. And it helped beyond anything I could imagine. Literally changed my life. And I'm grateful. And it was worth every single penny. And I've got the knives out here just so you're not looking at a black background, really. I mean, just, So yeah, she changed my life. I battled depression for a while and had a lot of anger issues. Like really, I would, yeah. It was affecting my work, my relationships, my home life, everything. And she really made me realize and think about things and get the help that I needed. Fast forward a little bit more. Suicide. Has it personally affected me? Do I know anybody that's attempted suicide? That's committed suicide? No. Do I know somebody that's attempted several times? Yeah, a very dear family member. Number of times. And they're still in that danger zone, if you will. So I think I have some background to talk about this. And I've got some notes off to the side because I really want to touch on some things. And in the description, I'm going to put a bunch of links of where you can get help. There's, as I was doing some research, and I have a whole list here that you can't read because my printer kind of sucks, but one of the places that the NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Health, one of my good friends had posted a link on Facebook today for this organization. So I went and looked them up. And I'm sure there are other places, but this particular place, you can text 24/7 and they'll get back to you. I thought that was really cool. But I'm going to put a link to them down in the description. That's the National Alliance on Mental Health. There's a phone number, there's a website, and a text. There's the National Suicide Hotline, 24/7. Veterans Crisis Line, if you're a vet. There's even one for law enforcement. My brother, former law enforcement, retired maybe 4 years ago now. God, it's been a long time. Lucky bastard. He volunteers on a hotline. It's called Copline. Ran by former law enforcement for active and former law enforcement because they understand what the officers go through on a day-to-day basis. It's a different kind of stress and anxiety and issues. For my friends up north of the border in Canada, there's a Canadian National Suicide Hotline. There's just a whole list of places that you can get some help. But you can also get help from talking to a friend. And, it doesn't even need to be somebody you know. There's some YouTube friends that I have. Alex's Knife Box. We've never met. We've traded a bunch of knives back and forth. We talk we talk online all the time. I've shared some stuff with him in the last 6 months that I may not have shared with a lot of other people. And I bounce ideas and, hey, dude, what about this guy? This is just really bothersome. And we talk through things. So it doesn't need to be a family member. Sometimes it's easier, not better, it's easier, it's different to talk to somebody that's a little bit removed from the situation. Talking to your wife, your boyfriend, your husband, girlfriend, sometimes that's a little too close to home. We don't want to share those depression feelings with them maybe because maybe they're going through some stuff too. So you want to talk to somebody else. So talking to somebody that's not intimately involved in your life, that helps. Might be easier to talk to that person than somebody close to you. So I want to run through a few stats just to talk about what's happened since this pandemic a little bit. The CDC did a survey back at the end of June. 5,000 plus people. 25% of young adults between 18 and 24 said they've considered suicide because of the pandemic. 25% of the 18 to 24-year-olds. That's crazy to me. 30% said they had symptoms of anxiety or depression based on the pandemic. And 26% reported trauma and stress-related disorders caused by this outbreak. Over 13% said they've used alcohol, prescription, and illegal drugs to deal with this pandemic-induced stress. 13% have turned to substance because of the pandemic. And the really alarming one is that 25% have considered suicide. I don't have the answers. I just want to share some. There was another study done. This is in March, I think it was. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. On average, 132 people in the United States die every day by suicide. 132 people a day. 90% of the people who've died by suicide have a diagnosable mental health condition at the time of their death. 90% of the people that commit suicide have a mental health condition. I don't even know what to say to that. And there's a bunch of other statistics. And men die more often than women. So many died in a year. I don't know. There's a lot of stats. And I'll put some links down in the description. So here's the point of all of this. Talk to somebody. If you're feeling depressed, anxious, stressed out, can't figure out how to go on tomorrow, the next day, if the walls are closing in on you because of the pandemic or just because of life, maybe it's not even pandemic related, talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to raise your hand and ask for help. Everybody will give you help. Nobody's going to laugh at you. And if they do, their ass. But nobody's going to laugh at you. Don't be afraid to raise your hand. Talk to a friend. Talk to a family member. If you don't want to make it official by calling some hotline, talk to somebody. Hell, reach out to some knucklehead YouTube guy, some Facebook friend that you've never met. Talk to them. Talk to somebody. A lot of it is just getting it off your chest. Really, there's a lot to be said for just getting things off your chest. It's super, super helpful. My email is in the description. Reach out. I'm always here. I'll talk to you. And those of you that aren't feeling that way, check on your friends. Oftentimes people, they're not gonna reach out. They don't know how to reach out. So if you're worried about somebody, you used to talk to them once a day or once or twice a week and you haven't heard from them in a week, or it's been 4 or 5 days and you haven't heard from them, reach out to them. If you're if you have a coworker that you've been on these video calls every day for weeks, and then all of a sudden their video's off, they're still on the call, but they've turned their camera off for the last 3 or 4 days, and that's unusual. Reach out to them. That might be a sign that there's a problem at home for them. We need to do the responsible thing by reaching out to our friends, checking on them, because they might not be able to reach out to us. It takes 5 seconds to send a text. Hey, just want to check in on you. How you doing? Maybe call somebody that you haven't talked to in years, but you guys text and you stay in touch on Facebook and you comment on each other's things and that sort of thing. Kind of pay attention to people's posts. Oftentimes they want some help, they just don't know how to ask for it. So they're kind of vague in their posts. Yeah, sometimes they just want attention. But right now, in today's world, let's give them some attention. Reach out to them. There's a lot going on. I know 2 or 3 people that have lost their jobs during this pandemic. One's working again. One is still looking for sure. Another one I think is working. I know 2 people that have lost loved ones. One lost a father, one lost a daughter. it's a crazy time. We have every reason to be anxious, stressed, depressed in today's society. We don't know. Are we going back to work? We're all cooped up in the house, working from home maybe. You, your wife, your kids are home from school. You got 5 people stuck in your apartment because that's the situation you're in. That can be stressful. Maybe you're not working. Maybe you're furloughed. Maybe you're laid off. Maybe you just lost your job completely. That adds stress. Reach out to somebody. Click on the links below in the description. Maybe you can volunteer. Like if you're doing great, you're still working, life is good for you, think about volunteering on one of these hotlines. I guarantee they could use the help. I don't know what's all involved in that, but let's make a difference. Let's help out. Reach out to your friends, your coworkers. Everybody's a bit isolated right now, so I think everybody would appreciate a check-in. Hey, just wanted to check in and see how you were doing. It's that easy. We got to stop and think about the important things right now in life. And that's our fellow mankind, our fellow humans. Let's be decent humans. Let's check on the people that might need to be checked on. And if you're the one that needs to be checked on, please reach out. There's no shame. Don't worry about your pride. Just ask for help and talk it through. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of people out there that are just willing to help and listen. Like I said, shoot me an email. Hit me on Instagram, Facebook, DMs and stuff. I'll listen. And I'm sure, the other YouTubers that I mentioned before, they would listen if you want to reach out to them. I didn't ask them, but I kind of know them. These are not just random people. These are people I actually talk to off on the side personally. So they're good guys. They would listen. There are people out here to listen. We don't need to have 25% of the 18 to 24-year-olds considering suicide right now. We can make a change. So there you go, guys. I appreciate you clicking on this link and watching this video. Not a super exciting, it's just something that has to be talked about. We need to talk about this more. It shouldn't just be in times of crisis that a bunch of YouTubers kind of get together and all on their own do videos like this. It should be something that's more talked about on a daily basis. More mainstream should be talking about this. There is no shame in depression. It's a legit diagnosis. It's a disease. It's a legit thing. It's not just you being weak or being a baby or any of those it's just a thing. It's just a thing, and there's ways to deal with it. There's ways to address stress, anxiety, and concern. So thanks for watching, guys. I do greatly appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you have any other links, look in the description. If you've got other links, share them. Because I have just a few. I mean, there's a bunch, but there are more links. There's more places to get help. If you're outside the United States, I listed just Canada, but I have viewers from all over the world. Put a link to your area. A couple of good friends are in Australia. New Zealand. Put a link to the New Zealand hotline, if you will. The Australia hotline. I guarantee there is one. So help spread the word, share the video, all of that good stuff. And again, thanks for watching. I genuinely appreciate it. So have a great day. Go check on somebody and stay tuned for another video tomorrow. Thanks, guys.